Should we move back to Africa? Here's the question. I know most of you all look at my channel, to get insight on Charlotte. A lot of you all want to move down here because you see that it's an opportunity. And that you look at my channel for insight. You want to get, basic information. You want to get whatever you can out of me in order for you to make a right sound decision as far as dealing with the move to Charlotte. And I get it, right? But most people that look at my channel are minorities. And that typically, this is how things are supposed to go. No matter what race you are. You see an area that you like, a city called Charlotte. You do your research. And most of that research is done online. You go to social media. You look at YouTube and Instagram. And you look at whatever's available that's about Charlotte on the internet. You just so happen to bump into me. And I'm telling you about some of everything. As well as others. Right? I'm not the only one that's doing videos about Charlotte. And with that, you travel down here and you get the whole feel of the city. And then you go back to where you're at and you make sure you have a job and, down there and let me rewind. You make the big decision, and the big decision is to move down here. And, after that, you start looking, job hunting if you don't already have one. You start to save money, etc., right? And then eventually you move here. Then you enjoy the Charlotte life. That's how it typically supposed to go. But I can tell you in the minority world, blacks won't tell you this, but I'm here to tell you this. In the minority world, we're looking for that promised land. And this is the reason why I named this video, Should We Go Back to Africa? Because the thing of it is we're in constant search of this so-called perfect city that doesn't exist. I can tell you that. I've lived in New York, in New York in particular, Brooklyn, Glen Clove, Long Island. I've lived here in North Carolina, Charlotte, Durham, Raleigh, Greensboro. I've lived in Atlanta, in specific Metro Atlanta, Marietta, Sandy Springs. I've also lived a little bit in Orlando, Florida. And I can tell you that I experienced some type of racism in every city and state that I've lived in. Some was subtle, and a lot of it, most of it was in your face when I was living in cities such as Marietta and Sandy Springs. And this is a thing that blacks don't want to talk about. Minorities don't want to talk about in specific. We're always looking for this promised land, this city that accepts us. Well, we don't have to be worried about getting bashed over the head by a cop. We don't have to worry about our son walking to the store to get a pack of Skittles and an iced tea and never returning. Well, we don't have to worry about a police officer jumping out of his squad car, and as our son is playing, our teenage boy, I think he was about 10, 11, Tamar Rice, was playing outside with a toy gun, being shot and killed. And the list goes on. This is the reason why, I had to bring up this topic. I mean, are we fed up enough to say, hey, maybe we should reconsider. Maybe we should try somewhere else. Let's not say Africa. Maybe the Caribbeans. Maybe. Who knows? Now I can tell you this. I've been to the Caribbeans, in specific Nevis, West Indies, and the Caribbeans is really like a third world country. You may be around your people. You know what I'm saying? And police, department is black and everybody's black, and you don't have to worry about, police brutality. You don't have to worry about a lot of things because they allow you to do things. If you love being independent, they allow you to do that. But then they don't have any type of industries down there. Like the only industry that they have is basically, the travel industry. Where boat docks and the tourism. They rely on tourism. So the boat docks and the people that get out of the boat, they hope that these people buy stuff from them. Other than that, there are no industries down there. There's no fast food restaurants. Well, I say in specific Nevis. Now in St. Kitts, you got Domino's Pizza and KFC. That's it. No, yeah, KFC. So this is something that we have to consider. And then a lot of it's crazy. I've done my research. I'm not going to say I've been everywhere, but a lot of the governments that's ran by blacks are corrupt. They could be bought out, but I don't know any type of government that can't. It's obvious ours is being bought out because we have corporations that hire lobbyists that get senators in the House of Representatives to change laws or to create laws on the behalf of that specific corporation. So we're kind of like assed out. But the question still remains, should we try somewhere else? You know, this George Floyd case is going on, and I'm just listening every day, and then it's like the defense disgusts me. You understand? Like, but I get it. You know, that's what they get paid for. They get paid for to paint this narrative that the police officer Dave Chavanaugh didn't kill, or his intentions wasn't, you know, to kill George Floyd. I get it. But aren't we tired of this? Aren't we tired of the narrative of this good police officer and this bad black guy? Aren't we tired of that? I can tell you here in Charlotte, yes, I've experienced subtle racism. I can tell you out of all of the cities and states that I've lived in, Charlotte, let me knock on wood. Well, I don't know where the wood is at. I think it's still, yeah. For now, that I've never experienced that in-your-face type of racism that I experienced in other places, like Greensboro, North Carolina. I'll give you a prime example. I was sitting out on my back porch, right? I was living in a townhome, and at the time I smoked cigarettes. I was a habitual cigarette smoker. Smoking cigarettes back to back or whatever have you. Minding my own business. I'm an adult. You know, I bought my pack of cigarettes. I didn't steal it. I was minding my own business. I was sitting on this bucket. I'm smoking my cigarette, right? Because, you know, I didn't smoke in the house. So, minding my own business, two white guys come up out of nowhere. Like the way my townhome was situated, if you understand where I'm coming from, for those that live in townhomes, my front yard was my backyard and my backyard was my front yard. So in other words, the parking lot where you parked your car at, that was the back sliding door, and then you would have to walk around to the front door to open the door, which makes sense, you know. So I had a girl at the time, so all I had to do is knock on the sliding door, tell her to open up, instead of me going around. But once you went around that corner, it's like a blind spot, you know what I'm saying, a blind eye. You couldn't see around that corner or who was coming around. So these guys popped out of nowhere, right? And there was a tree that covered that area, so I couldn't see. They just popped in front of that tree, right? And then they start questioning me. And the first thing that came to mind is, yo, officers, I'm minding my own business. I'm smoking a cigarette. I don't know who you talking about. Because they asking me questions like, you such and such and such. And then, you know, they got infuriated because, of course, I'm questioning. I'm the young black man questioning the authorities. So the white man, boom, hits his hand on his gun and says, "Get your effing ass up and get in there and show me your ID." I'm not gonna lie. Never said I was a tough guy. I buckled. Here it is, two officers, and they're yelling at me. So I went upstairs, got my ID, and they was like, "Yo, this is not the guy." And I was like, "Yo, I need to get your badge number." See, this is the thing. This is the only way that we can, you know what I'm saying, get justice, is to get somebody's badge number and call the same precinct that hired this fool. I can give you several stories of racism that occurred in Greensboro, North Carolina. Several. And this is not Kool-Aid, this is liquid chlorophyll. But several. So that's the question. So we just like move back to Africa. Now, that's a broad statement. You understand? Like, I know a lot of us are not from Africa. Like, I can honestly tell you I'm probably from Africa because my family's originally from Nevis, And of course, it's a no-brainer. They took the Africans that they kidnapped and brought them over for some of the Africans, and brought them over into the Caribbeans. So everybody didn't come straight to America. That's the first thing, right? So if you want to look at, I think, in my opinion, I'm not going to say for a fact, I think that the Caribbean people, West Indies people, are originally from Africa. That you can kind of trace that back. But there are some that I truly believe that were here. That there's no way in the hell, like that. Come on, man, let's be real. There's no way in the hell that all black people were taken from Africa and that white people were responsible for black people being over here. Please, kill me with that. Kill me with that. We have the Olmecians and the Moors that can dispel that bullshit. But that's another story. So for the sake of the conversation, of course all of us are not from Africa. That's a fact. But let's just say, we from Africa, we Africans, should we go back? Should we go back? Because, I mean, really think about it. We're being treated like shit here. And it's not going to get any better. I've always said this. What racist people do is they take their ideology and they hand it over to their children. And their children hand it over to their children. So racism will never die because it's always passed down from one generation to the next, just like generational wealth. So when people start to talk about, well, when will racism end? And we need to end racism, that's not going to happen unless you go into each and every house and teach, or rather dictate to the parent what that parent's supposed to teach Sally and Johnny. As long as there's white supremacy, it's going to continue to go on. And let me tell you something. If white supremacy doesn't exist, let's just say it's gone, it's eliminated, you got to beware of someone else that's in your neighborhood that treats you worse than the white man does. You know who he is. He's you know, because I'm pissed off because we allow everybody to come into our neighborhood and we allow everybody to control us. So let's just say the white man and white supremacy doesn't exist. There's two other people that's right behind him that treats us worse than the white man. That's the Chinaman and the East Indian. And both of them are in our neighborhoods. Look how they treat us now. So if we get rid of white supremacy and we're not able to stand on our own 2 feet, if we're not able to police ourselves and govern ourselves as a minority and have our own country, our own land, guess what? There'll always be someone right behind us ready to control us. And that next person right behind us will be the Chinaman. As of now, they're buying up the Caribbeans as well as Africa. And right behind them is the East Indian. So some of you all may say, well, you know, Langston, I mean, what are we going to do as a minority? I've always said, you know, to be independent. But it's kind of, I hate to leave you on a cliffhanger, but I really don't know what the fuck to do right about now. Staying here, we know what to expect. We know what to expect. I mean, you could be doing something wrong and get shot and killed. And be doing something right and get shot and killed. In the case of that man that was in his garage and he had his cell phone out in his hand and he got shot and killed in his own house. That can happen. I remember one time when I was in Sandy Springs and I played this. I'm glad I thought about this. This is an epiphany. So I'm gonna talk about this story and then I'm gonna tell you my solution because I came up with it based on how I handled this situation in Sandy Springs. So I was living in Sandy Springs, right? And there was a white couple that lived under us. So I'm not trying to be funny, but a lot of white people, you know, have 911 on speed dial. You know, your Karens of the world, right? But there are others, you know, that'll knock on your door and say, hey, listen, could you calm down? This right? This right. You know, so we were making a lot of noise, my children and I. Like, we were jumping on the couches. I was slamming them on the bed. They was laughing. And this is what we normally do. You know what I'm saying? No one was crying. No one was bleeding or any of that, right? So the neighbors downstairs, I don't even call them neighbors, but the people downstairs that stayed under us called the cops. Cops came to the door. I told the mother of my children, I'm not going to answer it. It's best that you answer it, because what'll happen is you'll set the narrative. He'll listen to you. But if I show up, he's already going to be aggressive. He's already going to be asking me questions. See, this is the thing about white cops when dealing with black men. There's a matter of respect. And this is the reason why black men get shot and killed, and there's altercations, because most times I truly feel that black men give white cops the respect. I don't think that happens the other way around. And it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Right? So I said, you know what? I'm not going to even go over there, go to answer the door, because it's going to be confrontational. What I want you to do is you answer the door and you talk to him and you set the narrative, meaning you let him know what we were doing, right? She answers the door. She says what we were doing. Hey, you know, they were playing with their father, having a good time. You know, we apologize for, you know, us being loud, but that's all it was. White cop says, okay, can I see the children? Now the cops is standing in front of the door. He didn't walk in, but I'm pretty sure if it was me, he probably would have walked his ass in. And that's disrespectful. You disrespected my house. Now anyway, so she brings the children up to the door to show the officer that there's no scrapes, scars, cuts, wounds, nobody's crying, etc. He says, hey, listen, y'all have a good night. Just try to keep it down. And that was the end. That could have went a different way. Which brings me to this point. We have to start thinking smart. Just like how I thought that way, we have to start taking on racism in a different way. So it's obvious if we stay here, we live here, we know what we're gonna face. We know what we're facing, not gonna face, what we're facing. Moving back to Africa is not optional. Why? Because most of you all won't. It's just that plain and simple. Most of you all won't. Most of you all will say, hey, listen, this is my home. I deserve to be here. That's that. My home meaning the United States of America, right? And then the second thing is none of you all want to put in work. Meaning that the reason why Africa is broken and it is the way it is because the infrastructure is broken. If you were to bring in your top engineers, black engineers, top teachers, nurses, doctors, etc., and go over there, Africa could be built overnight. Look at the great contributions that we've made here in America and how fast we've been able to achieve those goals and contributions. Why can't we do that over there? Think about LeBron stating, I'm not playing American basketball anymore, NBA basketball anymore. I'm going over there to Africa to play in their league. Think about Beyonce, you know, our mega stars. Think about Oprah. Think about all of the people that have money and they're investing in the infrastructure of Africa, where we could be right now. See, nobody wants to put in that work. So, in conclusion, I'm about to end this video. More than sure, I will get 2 or 3 views on this video, because when you put Africa as a title, it's already a turtle. Oh man, you gotta laugh from crying, man. But it is what it is. You understand? But in conclusion, being that we're not gonna go back to Africa, even though there are people that have, you know what I'm saying? There are people that have been repatriated, if I'm pronouncing it right. In Ghana is welcoming they're welcoming African Americans. Ghana's not perfect. Liberia is not perfect. Nigeria is not perfect. You know, but it's worth a try. But y'all are not going to do that. You understand? I know one dude, and I'm going to end it. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to end it. I know one dude. You all may be familiar with him, Zaylock 23. I used to follow him. I ain't gonna say used to. I still follow him, but I don't follow him as much as I used to because I'm busy doing my own, you know, channel. But for the most part, when he lived in Sandy Springs, well, I lived in Sandy Springs. He worked at Whole's Food, and I would, you know, go see him and talk to him and all of that. And he always reminded me of me. Like, he was the good me, and I was the bad him. Meaning that Zaylock stands for, like, he has this positive vibe. You know, he's very optimistic. And he moved to Ghana. So if he could do it, and this is a young cat, this guy is like 26. If he could do it, you can do it. But nobody's gonna do that. So, in conclusion, we have to tackle and handle racism in a more unique way. And instead of being enraged and breaking up things and burning things down and looting and all the rest of that shit that we're doing and marching and getting Al Sharpton and the dude that you always hire, whether it's Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, to speak for you, that's the lawyer that be like, that's from Florida, I forgot his name. You know, the black dude. That's the thing. He got a list and shit. Instead of dealing with this dude, let's just deal with this on a more higher intelligent level. Period. How we deal with it as we're thinking on a higher level is however we're gonna conquer it. One person can't give a solution. So don't expect for me to give you the solution, because if I had it, I would have been used it. Other than that, I want you to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely share this video with your friends and family. And have an open discussion about this particular topic. Peace.